Next up is Ghosted.
Mine too.
We, as an occupational hazard, see a lot of really bad movies. We do. And we see them for you to keep you away from them. And here are several of those. These are our worst of list for 2023. Do you want to go ahead and get started first?
Sure. Yeah. Mine are in no particular order. I basically just wrote about this is the order that I saw them in during the year.
Okay.
And I think the first new movie of 2023 that I saw would be one of the worst. And that would be the remake of House Party.
I missed that one.
The original is charming and fun. And okay, it's got a little homophobia in it, but it was the 90s. What are you going to do? And this movie just felt like, well, we have a title and I guess we have to have a party. And there was like one sort of subplot joke that was so wonderfully weird. And I just thought, if the rest of the movie had been at that level, great. But the rest of the movie is not. And it just felt very kind of phoned in and by the numbers. And yeah, it was a real waste of time.
The bit in the ad with LeBron making fun of himself in the workout mirror seemed like a funny joke.
The LeBron stuff is pretty funny. There's a whole thing about like a secret cabal, like a sort of celebrities. That was a fun idea, but everything else is just like, get on with it.
Oh my God. My first one on my worst list is 65, which I think you missed.
Right. I did not see it. Yes.
Because they screened it at 10 a.m. on the day it opened on the Sony lot. I had our friends from Fish Jelly come join me for a review of that. Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs should be more fun.
Right? It's how do you mess that up?
I don't know, but they did.
Oof. My next one is Malone, which was...
What is that?
It was a Liam Neeson movie that wasn't a Taken ripoff, but still bad.
Okay.
It was basically him playing... I'm blanking now on the detective's name that Humphrey Bogart played in a bunch of movies. Not Sam Spade, the other one. Anyway, it's terrible. It was trying to, like, invoke all of these like 1940s noir tropes, but it was neither a cool update nor the satire that it was on the verge of being the entire time, and it was just a big bore.
Aquaman 2 is my next one. Is that on your list too?
That's on my list too. Yeah, we get there later though.
Yeah, so this is how the DC extended universe ends. Not with a bang but a glub. It's just, it looks terrible. The attempts at humor are super corny. It's brought to you by Guinness in really obnoxious ways.
Yes.
And everyone here just feels like they're phoning it in, like you say with Liam Neeson with his movie. Like,
sorry, again, it's called Marlowe, by the way. My autocorrect fixed it. Marlowe. He's playing Philip Marlowe, and it's terrible.
Of course. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Nicole Kidman writing a robot shark should be more fun.
Yes. Again, how do you mess that up? But they do. Boy, do they. My next one is Paint, which was the one joke movie of what if Owen Wilson played the Happy
Bob
Clouds
Ross.
guy?
Bob
Ross. And that's it. That's it. That's all that movie has. And it's, oh, God. Ugh, next.
And the fish out of water stuff is not funny either. The idea that like he's the only person like this.
That he's trapped in the 70s, and it's like it felt like a bunch of note cards of ideas for a movie masquerading as a movie.
Yes. Next for me is Expendables.
Ooh.
I have a lot of sequels on my list. A lot of really shitty, needless sequels on my list. And like old dudes blowing stuff up should be more fun. And it doesn't get like the cheekiness of all the 90s kind of like buff dudes making fun of each other just feels really tired at this point.
Yeah, I should have put that on my list. I guess I just tried to forget that I even saw it. But yeah, that was the pits. Renfield. Another.
Oh, I don't think I hated Renfield.
See, here's the thing. Like it's a movie of two pieces. One piece is basically stuff they did better on What We Do in the Shadows, which is poor Renfield being feeling abused by Dracula and going to a support group for a Narcissist Anonymous rower, and then this whole other ridiculous plot with like Awkwafina as a New Orleans cop, and the vampires and the mob and the what. Ugh.
I enjoy Nicolas Cage kind of chewing it up,
if
you will, as Dracula, I always like Nicholas Hoult. I like when he makes weird choices, which he does more often than not. He picks like really daring stuff that he could just rest on the fact that he's beautiful, and he doesn't do that. And I like that about him. But anyway, I didn't hate that as much as I hated everything on my list.
Okay.
Next up is Ghosted.
Mine too.
Again, like Ana de Armas and Chris Evans. How do you mess this up? Beautiful people in luxurious locations. Like, this should be a fun, sexy spy comedy. Like, the action is terrible. The banter is not funny ever.
Bad.
They have no chemistry.
No, again, Lon Harris has identified the Red Notice movie, and this was the Red Notice-iest of all the films of this year. Like, we've got these stars, and we'll put them in a wacky, like, caper plot with a globe-trotting with a lot of green screen, and the worst. Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken felt like such an assemblage of parts of other animated films. Like, it was so many like Pixar tropes and characters fused together with like the teen and her destiny and the seemingly friendly person who winds up being I was so bored. Within 5 minutes I knew everything was going to happen, and I didn't care to see it.
The colors were very pretty.
Yeah, I'll give them that. And Jane Fonda was fun, but that was it.
Next for me is Hypnotic, which I'm not sure you saw because Katie reviewed it. Right. So this is like Robert Rodriguez's Christopher Nolan film.
Right.
With Ben Affleck. I was just boggled the whole time. Like, why did Ben Affleck say yes to this? He can do whatever he wants. The same year he did Air, which is a great use of everything that he is good at, being like a swaggering supporting figure. And here he's just like lost and confused, like everything is wrong and it's bad. This is one of 2 Robert Rodriguez films I have on my list.
Ooh, well, Affleck wanted to go to Austin and have some barbecue, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of terrible sequels, Meg 2.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was, again, like Aquaman, the first one sort of leaned into its own absurdity, and this one was really taking itself way too seriously for a movie about fish. And the idea, and it's one of those things where I don't know if this is in Jason Statham's contract, if he's got one of those I can't lose a fight, style deals like Vin Diesel has, but his character becomes so absurdly superheroic for a mortal man in this sequel. It's just ridiculous.
Does he kick a shark in the face at some point in this movie?
He kicks a shark's like upper, jaw and keeps it from clamping down on him, which, ask an ichthyologist.
Right. Like, I'm confusing that with Idris Elba kicking a lion in the face last year. Anyway, it's a lot. Next for me is Love Again.
That's like my number 11 bad movie, yes.
Again, like Celine Dion showing up as herself should be more fun. Those are the only good parts of the movie, where Celine Dion is sitting on these crates on stage that say across them Celine Dion World Tour, because she's giving love advice to strangers.
Oh God. And it's like, look, if you're going to shoot your New York set movie in London, fine. But if you're going to populate the cast entirely with British people doing iffy American accents, then the jig is up. We're going to know what's going on.
And also, it seems like such a hackneyed idea. Like, it seems so 90s, like, ooh, it's the wrong phone number, but it leads to love.
And I've literally seen a Hallmark movie with the same plot. It was almost as bad.
Probably done better, I was going to say. So, what's your next one?
Did you see Mafia Mamma?
Was it Toni Collette?
Yes.
Yes, I have. Yes. Okay.
What the hell was going on in that movie? They could not pick a tone between like wacky suburban mom finds out she's inherited a Italian crime family and like violent Italian crime family movie. It just veers back and forth between those two things. And I'm sorry, Catherine Hardwicke. I mean, maybe there's a way to make that work, but you do not have that Lubitsch touch to bring this off. It was such a hot mess.
I feel like I didn't hate it entirely though, because I liked watching Toni Collette wear the clothes.
Well,
I feel like that was okay about
There's
it, so it
that.
doesn't rise to like the derision of the rest of my list.
I felt bad for Monica Bellucci the whole
Oh,
time.
right. Yes, Monica Bellucci's in it too. Next for me is the Marvels, which I know we don't agree on.
We do not.
You thought it was serviceable, and I thought it was the worst Marvel movie yet, and that the effects look terrible, and it's a waste of all these actresses who individually are appealing in these roles, but like together, it's very awkward. And anyway, it just looked like crap, and it's like, yeah, I think it's the worst Marvel movie ever, and that's including like the Edward Norton Hulk.
Ooh, see, yeah, no, can't go with you on that one. And I think that there were some ideas in that movie that, again, like the weirder parts of a House Party, had they really gone into full fruition with the more eccentric stuff and less with the safe, it would have been a lot better. But at least they were there, you know. So a hint of it. The Exorcist Believer. Why? I mean,
Ellen Burstyn. Ellen Burstyn comes back, right? So for that reason alone, it's not totally terrible. Maybe
it was the kind of thing that everything else was so bad that I just felt bad for her being in it. I would rather that she'd said yes to Exorcist 2: The Heretic than this movie.
And they do her wrong in this movie. What happens to her character is infuriating.
Yeah, it's a lot. This was just, again, like David Gordon Green pooped all over Halloween, and now we've given him a new franchise to ruin. It's like, could we not, please? Just let these movies live on their own and not drag them back in these sort of like faux A-list remakes that bring nothing new to the table and are just annoying.
Yeah, I know we have both said before, like we miss the David Gordon Green of All
Prince
the Real
Avalanche.
Girls, or even like Pineapple Express,
sure,
right?
Yes.
Like I would take that now. I would take a good stoner comedy with Seth Rogen from him now.
Or This Is the End.
Yeah,
was that him?
My next one's yet another sequel, and that is My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I did not.
Dave and I reviewed it.
Yeah, Dave liked it.
He did. He was very kind to it, and a lot of that has to do with you, Alonso, and your family. And this reminded him of being part of a big, boisterous family. And so he was a little soft on it for that reason. But it just looks terrible. It is so hacky. It is so strained at this point, and they just keep trying to go back to that formula of that first one that was such a huge, surprising success, and they keep like getting diminishing returns.
Well, sequels are a toughie, and although I mean, we on our best list, like I had Godzilla -1, so it's not like they're impossible, but you've got to come up with something new and fresh, I guess. Anyway, the best of 2023 was far better than the worst of 2023. Oh, sorry,
there's more.
I'm done. Do you have?
Oh, are you not done?
I know I am done.
Oh, I have more.
Forgive me. Carry on.
I have 2 more to go through.
Sorry.
Mine is the alphabet. Did you do 10?
I did 10. Yeah,
but we agreed on
had some overlaps. Yeah.
All right. Spy Kids Armageddon. Did you see this movie?
No.
Good for you.
Oh,
it's
Robert
bad.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's bad. So, like, the thing with his movies where they look super cheap and chintzy was acceptable back in the beginning.
Sure.
But now he's making movies for like 30 years, right? And still doing it all. And it's still like the lighting is still really bright and flat. And the gadgets. I wish there was a gadget here. They're gadgets that look really cheap. And he just keeps going back to that same well.
Yeah, look, even Tyler Perry movies have over the decades gotten, like he has a better idea of where to put the camera, Rodriguez, like, yes, we get it. The initial charm of these movies, like, I made it for 10 cents, but
in my backyard with my own children.
Right. But I think at some point you have to I don't know, even stretch that 10 cents in a different direction or like learn on the job of how to make these things. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is your second of 2 Robert Rodriguez movies on my list. And then finally I have The Tutor, Tutor, which I know you didn't see. I had to see it for radio early in the year. Garrett Hedlund is a tutor. He's the titular tutor, and he gets sucked into this scheme. He is like a tutor for rich kids whose families want them to go off to fancy colleges, and Noah Schnapp's family hires him to help him with his studies, and it's not at all what it seems to be at first. It definitely has like Hitchcockian ambitions, and it's just twist upon twist, and it's so silly. And Garrett Hedlund just looks confused the whole time. It's very bad. I'm glad you don't even know what this movie is. I'm happy for you.
Completely escaped my radar this year, but good to know.
Yes. So let us know what terrible things you saw. What are we forgetting? What's the worst movie out there? There are just so many terrible sequels and so many terrible superhero movies. And I'm really hoping that we get like less of these in 2024. I know a lot of them are like planned out for years and years in a row, but I'm hoping we pull back on those.
That'd be nice. We can always live in hope. Thanks for watching.